women's collegiate gymnastics?
I think it's so cool to be competing against so many former Olympians.
The Olympics is something you always dream of as a little kid. Going to a D1 college is also something you dream of.
Jordan Child, this is a treat.
It's so awesome that people are able to do both worlds. It's really exciting for the sport.
It's a 10. She has been something special.
Being on the Olympic stage, it's the biggest stage in the world, so you need to learn how to manage those emotions and those nerves.
What we went through this past summer and then trying to compete at college, it's hard. It takes a toll on your body.
We also get to encourage ourselves to be like, look, if I was able to be an Olympian, I can be an NCAA champion.
It goes to show the talent of NCAA is up to par with the best of the best in the world.
Well, along with competing on the biggest stages in your sport, the introduction of NIL has welcomed a world of opportunities for athletes in this very building. The list goes on for people like Jordan Childs with Nike and Time. Of course, Olivia Dunn with programs like Forbes. Jade Carey's incredible run at the Olympics opened up a lot of opportunities when she returned back home to Oregon State. And of course, UCLA's Emma Malabuyo and LSU's Aaliyah Finnegan, who were teammates for Team Philippines at the Olympics, came back to do a variety of camps, magazine shoots, and the athletes that I spoke with told me it's allowed us to get everything we possibly can in and out of our sport. John.
Face of women's collegiate gymnastics and brought so much notoriety and attention and more eyeballs to the TV, and it's been a lot of fun to watch it all happen. Well, that last rotation, you guys, we're looking at Utah right there, and they made a big jump. 4th place after rotation 1, now second, Allie.
And Jaylene Gilstrap standing out with that beautiful dance. Grace McCallum, clutch Olympic athlete, so experienced, really showing that off with her composure, her calmness, and controlling those landings.
Well, the next rotation, Michigan State to beam, LSU to floor exercise, Utah to vault, and UCLA to the uneven bars. We are halfway. It has been back and forth. UCLA was in the lead after that first rotation. Now they are in 3rd, and it's Michigan State that moves up to the top spot. Utah right behind them. Don't forget, the stream team is at work as well. You can find them on ESPN+. They're covering all these routines. Kennedy Baker and Anastasia Webb covering Michigan State and Utah. Bridget Sloan and Trinity Thomas covering LSU and UCLA. And they keep wanting me to say that they have won 17 national titles. And Greg Campbell's in there too. And if you add Greg Campbell's national championships, they've won 17 of them. All right, back to business. Jaylene Gilstrap, outstanding on the floor exercise. She leads things off for Utah here on vault. Now, they're in a good spot. They're in 2nd, but now they go to the low-scoring event, the vault. Can they hang in there in the top 2?
They look really strong on vaults this year. Just to your Chenko full, so the ceiling there is a 9.95, but nicely executed.
Shea Campbell leading off on bars. They've had a lineup change. Mika Webster-Longan after that vault. Unfortunately, she is out of the lineup.
And Shea Campbell held that handstand on the low bar and did that again right there. Well done. This dismount, double front. At Big Ten Championships, all 6 gymnasts in the lineup scored a 9.9 or better on this event. I know they're hoping for the same thing today.
They had themselves a Big Ten championship. They won the team title. Shea Campbell won the all-around title as well in their first season in the Big Ten. Skylar Schulte now leads things off for the Michigan State team that is in the top spot, but it is so razor thin. Less than 0.2 of a point separating the #1 team from the #4 team. Any of these 2 teams still can get in to those finals. Connor McLean leading off on floor exercise. What a comeback for her. Tore her Achilles tendon, trying to make the Olympic team last year. Made an amazing recovery and more recently got into this floor lineup.
An impressive double layout, John, as you mentioned, coming back from that injury to do a skill that difficult. Such few gymnasts in the world can do that.
Skylar Schulte qualified as an individual her freshman year on beam and last year on floor, and it's really been her goal since she's been at Michigan State to qualify as a team, she's making it happen and getting the job done in that leadoff position.
A big leadoff routine for Michigan State. And this is a big rotation for LSU. Tremendous floor team, number 3 in the country on this event. They are in 4th, 0.125 behind 2nd. If they are going to make a move, they've got to make a move here because they go to vault last. Those scores, tougher to come by. Got to be big if you're the Tigers.
Connor bent legs in between that 1.5 to the punch full. Did a great job keeping her chest up for the landing. Will be a slight deduction for that, but she is a competitor and handled that really well.
We all jumped out of our seats because we know exactly what that moment feels like. She should not have salary for the year in 1 vault. That was amazing. Macy McGowan now follows Shea Campbell's 9.825.
Macy McGowan flying from 1 bar to the next. So hard when you have the pressure on you and the adrenaline to think about one skill at a time. Double layout kept her body so tight. That hop back gonna cost her a 10th, but great routine.
So 2 hits in for UCLA here in this 3rd rotation. UCLA 0.0125 behind Utah for 2nd. Essentially, that may as well be tied. It is that close. We talk about coming down to steps on landings or small wobbles, and that's less than a step or a wobble, 0.0125. Katie Duplessis now on the balance beam. Kyla Schulte, 9.8125 in the leadoff spot.
Really crooked on that triple series, but quick adjustments, and she's trying to dance out of it. Probably only a slight deduction for the bobble at the end.
The cruise director, as they like to call her at LSU, Sierra Ballard, she led off on balance beam. Nice job there. Here she is in the 2 spot following Connor McLean's 9.8625.
Sierra recently switched from 3-pass routine to a 2-pass routine. She added in a switch full leap and feels she's scoring better with that change in the routine.
Quickly to the left-hand side of your screen, Katie really nailed that dismount. Credit to all their difficult beam assignments this season.
Notice Sierra throws her arms out to the side, helps her keep her balance in that front layout, control that landing so well.
Yeah, the aggressiveness that I see from her on beam and that I love so much, she brings that to floor too, and you just can't help but look away.
They need every bit of it. Do the LSU Tigers quickly over to vault. This is Avery Neff following Grace McCallum's 9.95. That is equaling the top score on that event with Sage Kellerman. And that
because they're heating up early.
Wow, nicely done from Avery. You said it, Grace McCallum set up the second half of that lineup for big numbers. Quickly over to bars, this is Caitlin Rosen. Taylor?
John, as you guys mentioned, Mika Webster-Longan was supposed to be in this 3rd spot in this bar lineup. She did suffer a knee injury on that vault earlier. She was evaluated by the medical staff, ultimately taken to the locker room and is undergoing x-rays right now. Obviously, like you guys said, unable to return to competition.
Man, what a bummer for an athlete that's been such a big part of this Bruin team this season, in her 1st season as a Bruin.
But huge moment for Caitlin Rosen to get the stick on that dismount. Coaches describe her as the heart of the team.
Emma Meisenheimer, the 3rd Spartan, following that 9.8625 from Duplessis.
Front aerial arms continue to move, making sure she gets that connection into a split jump.
Something that head coach Mike Rowe said that I thought was really smart is he encourages his athletes to sing a song on beam. He feels it will help replace the doubt and any negative thoughts that go in their mind.
That's how I start every day, actually, Allie, just sing a song. Makes me feel good.
I mean, I should do that too. It's clearly working for Michigan State.
Kaylin Chio, right hand of your screen for LSU. She's been doing good today, but not really the Kaylin Chio standards. Still waiting to break that first 9-9 of her NCAA championship.
Kaylin Chio starting off. Most gymnasts grab their legs to help them rotate faster. Kaylin doesn't even have to touch her legs.
Emma finishing round off 1.5. They're getting another stick, and Michigan State is starting to heat up on beam.
And Michigan State's mantra is, it's time. And that's exactly what they're doing right now on beam. It's hard to teach that, to be able to handle that type of pressure. That 2.5 punch front is extremely difficult to time that right. You've got to be just 10 degrees past vertical to hit that perfectly, just like she did. That was exceptional.
Well, she didn't compete floor at regional finals. It's the only meet all year she didn't do all around in. She's acknowledged that she's been a bit tired, so they're hoping that break helping her show up, and that looked pretty strong to me.
Avery Neff, a 9.85. Here's Ashley Glenn for Utah.
She's the 2025 Big 12 vault co-champion. Just small, happy feet.
She left the door open right there. The judges could take one.
Yeah.
They could take 2.5. It's how they decide whether she controlled that landing. There is Mike Hunger, by the way, the main vault coach for Utah. Emma Malabuyo follows Caitlin Rosen's 9.875. UCLA looking for their first 9.9 here on bars.
Emma doing a good job using the tap, the swing under the bar, and keeping her hips open throughout the routine.
Short on that dismount, just didn't quite get her upper body to the vertical position in order to stick the landing.
Meisenheimer 9.85. Here's Delaney Harkness.
And John, keep in mind, Delaney was not in this bar lineup, beam lineup, excuse me, majority of the season. An injury to Gianna Khalifi threw her into the beam lineup just in time for Big Ten Championships, Regionals weekend, and now the NCAA Championship. Head coach Mike Rowe describes Delaney as a gamer, said if you need anyone to be a rinse and repeat athlete in the face of an injury, it's Delaney Harkness.
Yeah, and he also said that she's so talented and she's always risen to the occasion. 5th year, first time qualifying to the NCAA Championships with her team.
And Delaney on beam doing a difficult switch leap, gets 4/10 bonus for that. That first switch leap, really, the judges could take off. That back leg wasn't quite at that 180 degrees.
Amari Drayton on floor exercise. Jay Clark says she might be one of the most overshadowed or underappreciated gymnasts on the team. Tremendous on this event, and they need to be tremendous. No 9.9s yet for LSU. They're running out of opportunities, and vault, their final event, so hard to get 9.9s. They gotta get 3 more right here if they want to give themselves a chance.
Amari, so dynamic and powerful, and really good at controlling those landings. Oftentimes, it's tough to control them with such a powerful athlete, but she is not new to the podium, as she was elite as well. Sometimes those athletes have an easier time adjusting to the extra bounce of the floor.
And Sam, Amari Drayton trained with Simone Biles, and so I imagine she learned a lot of really good tricks and tips from Simone on floor.
Got to pull out all the tricks, Allie. Right now, if you are the LSU Tigers, Ashley Glenn, 9.8375. McKenna Smith. 2 more to go here for the Utes.
She's ranked 4th on vault. Really quick to open up from the pike shape. I have seen her stick that vault so many times. I think, guys, the podium must be bouncier over there on vault.
It has been so hard to find a stuck vault landing. Incredible. Frida Esparza now following Malabuyo's 9.8125.
And we've seen a lot of pack saltos today, but we haven't seen one with a full twist. That's the type of skill that you'll see in an Olympic bar final. That's how difficult that is.
They needed that. They have yet to break a 9-9 in this rotation. Could that be the first one?
Yeah, full twisting pack salto. This is called a bahardwaj. Really beautiful to watch. Not too many athletes do that in NCAA gymnastics.
Named after Olympic silver medalist Mohini Bahardwaj. UCLA Bruin.
UCLA Bruin, 2004 Olympian, Olympic silver medalist.
Nikki Smith following Delaney Harkness's 9-8. So is Michigan State in peril of dropping out of the top 2 now?
Oh, you see she landed with 2 straight knees. You want to finish in a lunge, which means your first knee needs to bend in order to absorb the beam. This is such an exciting beam routine. She has so much difficulty in this routine, though.
Aaliyah Finnegan, right hand of your screen, had trouble on balance beam in the last rotation. Can she regroup here? Because she's following Amari Drayton's 9-9, the first for LSU in Florida.
Aaliyah doing an Arabian double front, the first one we've seen in the competition. Into that jump, gets 1/10 bonus for that connection right there.
All these teams still within 2/10 of a point from first to fourth.
Quickly, left-hand side of your screen, round of double back, huge difficulty. She sticks it again. Coaches say she actually sticks it about 65% of the time. I can't tell you how tough that is to stick that difficult dismount.
65% of the time.
That has to upper average.
It works every time.
And this tumbling pass right here for Aaliyah, struggled on this in the season. She took out a step so she can stay on the floor. Last couple of meets have had no issues.
Yeah, after she did that one correct, it's like a light bulb went off, and she hasn't messed it up once since they made the change.
And that tumbling pass, 2.5 punch front, the same one we saw from Kaylin Chio.
Last meet, she got a 9.975, so she's capable of some big scores on this event. Controlled landing in the warm-up, and she is just so good at spotting the ground before the last half twist. That's what makes it so consistent.
And Zoe,
moment, that's a big moment for her.
The top score on bars from session 1 of the semifinal, and this one is a 9.9375. I think we're going to have a new leader on that event, and it's going to be Jordan Childs. Gabrielle Stephen to anchor this beam rotation. Nikki Smith just a 9.8125, so nothing over a 9.8625 for Michigan State.
And Gabrielle Stevens, that very difficult front aerial 2 feet. I actually saw her fall on that in the warm-up, so I wonder if that was a little bit in her head, because we saw her shoulder dip, had a bit of a wobble there.
She's such a gritty athlete, so I know she wants to make this beam routine.
Kaylee Bryant, right hand of your screen, trying to get LSU into the top 2.
I can't stress enough for Michigan State right now how hard it is to compete right now. You hear Haley Bryant going in the background. The music's loud. There's so much going on. Very impressive round-off double twist dismount. Lands with her feet together too. Beautifully well done.
Aaliyah Finnegan, a 9.9375 in the 5 spot. Haley Bryant certainly capable of more than that. If she can land clean, she will put LSU in a good spot heading into that final rotation. Jordan Childs, a 9.975. We got a new leader on bars, and that was big for UCLA.
Yeah, they really needed that score, and Haley Bryant, it looks like she's gonna put up another big score for LSU, because this is looking just like we expect. Really solid from their grad student, superstar Haley Bryant.
Haley Bryant is the first gymnast in LSU history to achieve both a gym slam, perfect 10 on every single event, and the only gymnast in history to do it in a single season.
Huge front handspring double flip. She gets so high in the air and perfectly places it down.
Man, we'll shake it all out here when we get that score in, but we're going to jump over to the uneven bars with Maddie Williams from Cal.
And Maddie Williams is an athlete. Her form, the toe point, is just breathtaking. Oh, supposed to do a double layout. Not sure what happened there. Tucked her legs. That was a mistake. That will be a deduction.
Now over to the balance beam, Isabella Magnelli from Kentucky. She has been synonymous with this event throughout her career. Currently ranked at the end of the regular season 6th on this event.
She could do that triple series in her sleep. That's how solid she is on it. And she just works beam really light. Coaches call her the beam queen of the team because it is just so natural for her to make those slight adjustments in the air. But I want you to watch her eyes during her skills. She is spotting the ends of the beam in order to keep her balance and to adjust when she finishes. It's really tough as an individual to have an opportunity to win an event title, and Isabella is one that has a really good shot to win balance beam.
And especially Sam.
Rotation, all these teams jockeying back and forth, and one of the teams moving up into the top 2 is LSU, and Taylor is with head coach Jay Clark.
Thank you very much, John. Well, Coach, you just said your team started a little tight, but after that floor rotation, you cracked the top 2. What'd you see there?
Well, they're fighting. They're fighting for their lives, and I'm proud of the fight at this point. That's really all I can say. We missed some opportunities on the first couple of events, but they're coming back, and they're fighting for their lives.
This one is as close as we anticipated, but you got to close it on vault. Notoriously a good event for your crew. What do they need to do there?
They just need to be themselves. We trained well yesterday. We looked good in warm-ups today. I just want them to be settled down. I think that was the issue early. They got a little tight, and sometimes that happens. We're all human, and sometimes those things happen. But I am proud of how they're fighting.
All right, one more. Let's see how it goes. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Taylor.
John.
Yeah, they absolutely are fighting, and this competition could not be any closer. Here is your individual event scores. Look at that, Jade Carey. She is right in there for that all-around title with that 9.9125. Magnelli, nice beam score as well. Heading into that 4th and final rotation. My goodness, all of these teams within less than 0.2 of a point. Which 2 are Saturday afternoon on ABC and the ESPN app with expanded coverage on ESPN+. We'll have the NCAA Gymnastics Team Finals at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Coverage begins with the pre-show at 3:30 Eastern time. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Headlines from semifinal number 1, Oklahoma. They advanced. They were the top seed in that session, and they made it without drama. The drama, though, was the Missouri Tigers going head-to-head with the Florida Gators, and it's the Missouri Tigers. They qualified for their first ever NCAA team final. Florida is eliminated. So unfortunately for Gator Nation, but this last rotation, you guys, holy cow, every team moving in and out of those top 2, and it is going to be exciting right down to the wire with some great highlights. LSU on floor. Jordan Childs on that bar routine, outstanding.
Jordan Childs on that bar routine was epic. The way that she controlled her handstand and she stuck her dismount, so well done. I know that she's been working so hard on this routine. You can really tell how much experience she has. Look at the body position, hips open, and just goes into that. Well done.
And LSU really put together a complete rotation. Amari Drayton, I agree with head coach Jay Clark. She is underrated. Then you have Aaliyah Finnegan, who is just so consistent and solid and fun to watch. And then when you have an anchor like Haley Bryant, how does it get much better than that? Any team would be lucky to have an anchor like Haley Bryant. They just got one more, and they're in the clear to qualify to the NCAA final.
Yeah, LSU gave themselves life with that floor rotation. They go to an event, they're number 1 in the country vault. You'd think that's an advantage, but it's kind of a low-scoring event. We'll see what they can do there, but look at where these teams are ranked. Utah, UCLA, 4th on their events respectively. Michigan State on floor, the 13th ranked team there. They've got a little bit of work to do. It's going to be an exciting final rotation. Taylor Davis, you're in the belly of beast. I'm worried about your health down there. It is so rowdy. What's it like?
I'm in the middle of the chaos, John, but I would say the intensity matches the moment. LSU heads to vault, UCLA to beam. The athletes are locked in. One rotation left for a spot in the finals.
Reappear before your mind's eye. The small steps on the long road. For now is the time to climb that final step.
Welcome back to the fourth and final rotation. It has been hopscotch all the way through this one. UCLA at the top at the beginning. They dropped on that second rotation. It was Michigan State, but now Michigan State's in fourth. UCLA back at the top, and the defending champ, they move into the top two, but they got to go to vault. It's a low-scoring event, even though they're the #1 team in the country. This one is absolutely going to come down to that final landing. KJ Johnson, she will lead off for the #1 team in the country, LSU, on vault. She's notorious for sticking this. Feels like she's got to stick this one to get them off on the right track, you guys.
Well, she has stuck this vault in this position so many times. Head coach Jay Clark right there says her presence in this lineup matters. And leading off with a stick does make a difference to the rest of the lineup. Doing a Yurchenko layout full, she gets so much airtime. Hop on that landing, I actually say that's uncharacteristic for KJ Johnson.
It is, and we saw Shea Campbell get a 9.9 for a perfect Yurchenko full. You got to think that's going to be lower. I don't want to say it's ominous for LSU, but they're going to have to stick some vault landings, almost certainly. McKenna Smith on bars for Utah. This is a really good event for them. And they don't get quite the notoriety for this event, I don't feel like, but I watched them in the regional round, and they can really swing some bars.
John, I completely agree with you. I think what makes Utah stand out on this event is their uniqueness, the originality in which their routines are crafted. You're not going to see the same skills over and over again.
So UCLA now over on the balance beam. Again, very good beam team, but this is balance beam. We've seen some outstanding beam workers have wobbles. Wobbles and steps are going to be the end of your journey if you do that here if you're UCLA.
Little wobble on that connection. Curious to see if the judges will give it to her. Front aerial into that split jump.
Emily Lee actually struggled with this at the regional final. No issues today. Sometimes, Sam, I'm curious if you agree, sometimes when you have that first wobble on your first skill, it kind of, you recenter yourself and it makes you do beam a little bit more aggressively.
UCLA is hoping that's the case for Emily Lee, but she did have a little wobble later in the postseason, and they were able to come back from that, so not detrimental by any means. But as we saw in the scores, it is close. So everyone is trying to do their best, especially in this moment now. I think sticks matter the most. We saw one from UCLA, we've seen one from Utah.
Delaney Harkness on floor exercise for Michigan State. They are in fourth, 0.15 behind LSU for that second spot. Keep in mind, these teams from first to fourth still less than 2/10 separating them. Any two could be in the final.
And 2/10 could be a step on a landing. And did a little short on that double tuck. Would have loved to have seen her take that step back with her chest up instead of step forward.
Lexi Zeiss, left hand of your screen. Yurchenko 1.5 coming. You gotta think they gotta stick at least 2 or 3 of these vaults they have left to go.
Yeah, the earlier they get the job done in their lineup, the less pressure is on the back half of the lineup. Well executed in the air, but that one step forward we've seen.
2/10, Sam. They're gonna take 2 on that step. I'd be shocked if that's above a 9.8, honestly, and that's just been par for the course throughout these championships, and that is what makes vault so tough, the way it's been judged. But look out for Utah. I said they could swing some bars, and they showed it with that 9.9125 to start. Here's Ashley Glenn.
And Ashley's toe point, that Stalder release move right there, requires so much hamstring back flexibility.
good handstand. Last meet, she got a 9-9. So talk about athletes that can put up some big scores. Judges do seem to be extra picky with that step forward, because not only is it the deduction for the step forward, but she'll also get a slight deduction for her chest being in front of her instead of vertical.
Caitlin Rosen, the sophomore. She is the second gymnast to go here for UCLA and beam. Emily Lee, a 9.675. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and tell you that if they count that score, UCLA will be watching the final. The pressure is on these last 5.
And Caitlin Rosen has put in a lot of the mental work when she was rebuilding her confidence early in the season. They reconstructed her routine so that she would feel more confident. Put in a noti, that's a back handspring with a half. I think that's one of the most difficult skills you can do on beam. She had no problems with it today.
Sam, I agree. They took out the back handspring layout, and added in a noti, which is so risky. So right here, she normally would have added an extra layout. Very impressive.
Michaela Tucker from Michigan State on the right hand of your screen.
Whatever Caitlin Rosen's journey was on when she took her hiatus from the lineup is working, because this is looking so confident up there. Her presence is just exuding the message that I'm gonna make this beam routine. Finishing round off, 1.5. Wow.
Somehow gripped with her heels.
Well, a little.
Not to take another step back.
Yeah, no kidding. She took a little scoot there, Alan. You said it. To hold on and not take another step was big for Caitlin Rosen.
Oh, and Michaela, looks like on her front handspring, you want to finish almost in a on a releve with your legs straight. Looked like she bent her legs a little bit, but did a good job landing upright.
Yeah, she follows Delaney Harkness's 9.7875, so another score in the 9.7s. LSU, #1 team in the country. They need to take advantage of this. Lexi Zeiss, though, only a 9.8. Aaliyah Finnegan, we've seen her stick this vault as well. If she wants to move on, might take a stick right here.
Take the 1.5. I thought that could have been it. It was good positioning in the air, but had too much momentum. Their vault coach, Garrett Griffith, has been doing such a phenomenal job with this group. He's good at being relaxed, and so he's hoping that that energy is going to help them not be too stressed for those landings.
I do think that will score higher than Lexi Zeiss's 9.8. It was a bigger vault, smaller step. We'll see Avery Neff now. She can swing some bars, and you got to check out the dismount to this routine.
Certainly can, and Avery fell on that Ginger release move on the high bar at the regional final. Did a great job. I like how, despite falling, she still didn't hold back. She caught it with a lot of distance, and that dismount, one of the most, if not most difficult dismount in the entire competition. Double layout with a full twist.
She is on fire. Watch how much she had to stretch for that Ginger. Exactly what you said, Allie. She wasn't playing it safe, and it's gonna pay off in her score.
Jordan Childs now takes to the balance beam. A 9.95 would tie her for a lead in the all-around. Obviously, some other gymnasts yet to go, namely Jade Carey, but big moment, not just for UCLA, but for Jordan Childs, following Caitlin Rosen's 9.8875.
That handspring layout, really gentle to that finish position. I saw her before warm-up, and she looked like she was having fun. She looked loose, slight wobble there.
Gabby Ortiz for Michigan State, right hand of your screen, follows Tucker's 9.875. They're trying to drop that 9.7875 from Harkness.
But athletes like Jordan have so many skills from the elite world. It takes them a little bit of time to know which skills they're going to compete most comfortably and most confidently.
It looked to me that Gabby Ortiz went out of bounds on that first tumbling pass.
She actually did. I looked over and we saw the flag go up. That is a 1/10 of a point. That's big.
Jordan Childs learned a new beam dismount. Round off double full, almost with a stuck landing. That's gonna be close. I'm not sure it's gonna get quite to that 9.95 range.
No, she had a couple balance checks. I'm not sure what the judges are going to do with those and that kind of shuffle, slide, scooch. I think you named that a scooch earlier this season.
Happy feet.
On the landing. Avery Neff, a 9.925 for Utah. Look out. They may coast into the finals if they can keep this up. Aaliyah Finnegan does go slightly higher than Zeiss with a 9.85. Here's Amari Drayton. She can fly as well.
Look how high she gets off the table. Oh. We all made the same face because she was perfectly placed to squeeze for a stuck landing. Just had that little scooch in one step.
Emily Morgan now follows the 9.925. Utah was in third after the third rotation, but less than a tenth out of first, if you can believe that.
And watch this, another full twisting pack salto. So cool that we get to see 2 of those in this competition. And unique dismount, excellent.
That was the best I've seen her do it. She is looking so strong as a senior.
Jimmy Pratt, we saw him there, give the high fives, doing a great job with that bar team as we jump over to balance beam, and this is Shea Campbell.
John, a full circle moment for Shea. She grew up just outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and she told me at the end of last year, she wasn't positive she was going to come back for this 5th year, but with the disappointing end in regionals, she felt there was more in the tank. Well, here they are on stage at the NCAA Championship. She said it's incredibly special to her to now be ending her career in the place where it all started. She's got a large contingency of family, even some club team members in the stands cheering her on tonight as she closes out, whether it's tonight or Saturday, a very storied career at UCLA.
Yeah, well, she's really been the glue to this UCLA team from a culture standpoint, and then you add on her high scoring potential and productivity since she's been at UCLA, and she is just a gem, top to bottom.
Crunch time for Michigan State and Gabby Stephen on the right hand of your screen.
And this first tumbling pass for Gabrielle Stephen, so unique, the front through to the front handspring.
And a stuck landing from Shea Campbell. If UCLA wants a chance to compete in the NCAA final, she had to do that as perfectly as she could, and she did. We'll see what the judges do with the score.
And Shea Campbell did that back handspring layout 2 feet so well. She just did not move, and that's a risky skill because she didn't pike down at all.
Yeah, veteran savvy from Shea Campbell. Jordan Childs only a 9.825, will not get that all-around title. Kaylin Chio, only 2 vaulters left for LSU, running out of opportunities. Can they squeeze a couple of 9.9s from their last 2 athletes?
You wouldn't normally want to rely on a freshman, but I'd choose Kaylin any day.
Wow.
There you go.
Superstar.
Not many stick a 1.5 as good as Kaylin Chio across the country.
Well, she's the first freshman to score a perfect 10 this season. She's so clean. Her body shape is impeccable. She opens her arms at the right time. Man, LSU needed that.
They are making it interesting, are the defending champs.
Watch the elbow position. She just waits a beat, catapults her body into the air. What's unique about Kaylin's vault is she does the full impressive.
And if you want to try blocking like Kaylin and Chio at home, just put your hands above your head and do a shoulder shrug, and then add a lot more momentum to that. That's basically what she did in order to complete that vault.
The Tigers are happy. She's smiling. It's a 9.975 for Kaylin Chio, the #1 vault in this competition. Probably going to be a title for her unless Haley Bryant can take it away. Sienna Olipio from Midwest Gymnastics, same gym as Suni Lee, Olympic all-around champion. Ella Zerbis for Utah, right hand of your screen. They're rolling on bars.
And Ella, that Jaeger is so fun to watch. She has so much time to rotate, handstand on the top of the bar. Exactly what the judges want to see.
I'll tell you what, guys, the way this feels right now is it feels like Utah's going to be in. They were less than a 10th out of the first spot, and they are absolutely rolling. The question is, which one of these other 3 teams is going to take that second spot? Who wants it?
Well, Sienna hasn't had a wobble on this beam routine, and she's following a 9.9 plus from Shea Campbell. She's got to get the stick on this dismount.
Oh, they needed that.
Yeah. Wow, I am on the edge of my seat. UCLA wants a 10.
Ella Zerbas for Utah, a 9.8125 will get them into the final on Saturday. And it feels like that is a foregone conclusion. Nikki Smith follows that Stevens score of 9.8625. You can see the scores over there. They're already counting a 9.7. Feels like Michigan State might be on the outside looking in, and unless they can pull a miracle here at the end. Haley Bryant on vault. Arguably the biggest vaulter in the country. Landings have been her issue. Can she stick the most important vault of her life?
It wasn't a stick, but it was a Haley Bryant vault. And we know that it is so well executed in the air, and we also know that it tends to score well.
Nikki Smith sticking that first tumbling pass, full twisting double back. It's even harder to stick. With the adrenaline, the bounce of the floor on this podium makes it extra impressive.
Ella Zerbas, 9.9375. Utah is in Olympio for UCLA, 9.95 with Emma Malabuyo, the last gymnast to go, trying to punch their ticket.
Emma Malabuyo competed for the Philippines in this last Olympic Games. She's a senior for this UCLA team and really known as a beamer. She lands so light on the beam and has this presence about her. You can just see it in her face, how calm she is, breathing through this routine.
Sam, I think what stands out about Emma's beam is her rhythm. She does not stop, she keeps moving.
Difficult leap series because she loses sight of the beam.
And Grace McCallum on bars, she got a 10 both days of the regionals. She is exceptional at this event.
Malabuyo needs a 9.7875. All she's got to do is land on her feet, and UCLA is going to be in.
That's going to do it.
Not only did she land on her feet, but she stuck it, and so did Grace McCallum.
That is going to be a massive score for Emma Malabuyo. I didn't see any deduction, didn't see her move. The rhythm is exactly what the judges are looking for. That's going to be one of the biggest scores of the day on beam, in my opinion.
Yeah, that could be the national beam title right there. She's competing with Helen Hu, which we know is an incredible beam worker, but Emma could not have done that routine any better.
Wow, what a memorable beam routine for Emma Malabuyo.
Needs 5 10s from 6 of the judges to get that beam title. Carey needs a 9.9375 to tie Jordan Bowers from Oklahoma for the all-around title.
Yurchenko 1.5. Hop on the landing.
That hop is going to be the difference. That's not going to go 9.9 plus. I would be shocked. But what a job for Jade Carey. What a collegiate career she has had. Skylar Schulte finishing things off for Michigan State. halfway through. They were in that top spot and just couldn't quite hold on to it.
Skylar Schulte on this victory lap. No one is more deserving to be with her team at the NCAA championships than Skylar Schulte, part of that team 51. And they wanted to come out of the gate strong. Head coach Mike Rowe said they've taken this year to a whole nother level.
UCLA left hand of your screen, watching and waiting for the official announcement, but it's going to happen for them.
Talk about individual titles. Skylar Schulte definitely is in consideration for a title on this event right here. Those are some strong tumbling passes.
And Michigan State, what a phenomenal evening they've had. So impressed with them this season.
I ran into Utah's athletic director, Mark Harland. He used to be at UCLA when I was there. And the last thing he said to me was, wouldn't it be cool if UCLA and Utah made it to the final?
Well, we're waiting for the official announcement, but it certainly feels like a foregone conclusion. LSU, on the other hand, I think they see the writing on the wall as well.
This was a tough competition. Came down to just the smallest details.
Those stuck landings, and I think the mental game and momentum that these coaches have been talking about, it's so important to carry that through start to finish.
Maya Lazan, UCLA cheering for Maya Lazan from Cal as she finished that beam routine.
Yeah, heartbreaking to see LSU so emotional.
And there's the score for Emma Malabuyo, 9.975, and UCLA sees it as well. Shea Campbell emotional. They are going to be in the finals. How about Janelle McDonald in her third season at UCLA? There was tumult with that program for a few years, but they have righted the ship, and they will have a shot to win a national championship.
And how about Utah? They are certainly in contention for the title. They've gotten third place 4 years in a row. They're hungry for a national championship.
And Sam and John, look at Utah's bar rotation, counting all scores above a 9-9.
Miley O'Keefe right there, former all-around champion for Utah. How do you bounce back when you lose somebody like that? Well, you add somebody like Avery Neff, who's the center of your screen right there, and the Utah Utes. One of the most storied programs in NCAA history, have never missed an NCAA championship, but it has been 30 years since they've won a title, and man, are they hungry for it.
Well, head coach Carly Dockendorf of Utah said that this senior class has really led by example, but she said this past month, I've actually challenged the senior class to step up and guide the team to where they want to finish. Guys, they want to be in the final, and they made it.
And Sam, they've been talking about winning a national championship. Coach Dockendorf said in years past, Utah didn't want to talk about it. This year's different. They're saying they're not afraid to talk about it, and they certainly weren't afraid to tell us on the coach's call either.
Yeah, LSU, the defending champ, unfortunately, .2125 behind UCLA for that second spot. And you know they're going to be talking about all the what-ifs for LSU. They had some mistakes. They were not perfect throughout, had some steps on landings. And you know it's going to be a tough one for them to live with as they head into the offseason. They will not get that chance to repeat.
But these athletes, especially the seniors for LSU, they have left a legacy on this program for years to come. You're looking at Sierra Ballard, who has just been an incredible athlete for the culture of this program, and they have set that program to new heights, winning the championship last year. And freshman Lexi Zeiss, you see her emotional She wanted to help get the job done for this senior class, but we're gonna see her for years to come. And I'm guessing she's gonna be doing many more amazing things for this LSU team.
And we're saying goodbye also to Haley Bryant, one of the best ever, in my opinion, to put on a pair of grips and a leotard. And here is your national championship bracket. Oklahoma, the highest seed to advance. Missouri will be joined by Utah and